She kicked me backstage. I don't know why. I don't know why.
What, an actual kick?
There are athletes, and then there are forces of nature. Carli Lloyd never wanted to prove anyone wrong. She only wanted to prove herself right. But how does a girl from a quiet New Jersey neighborhood, a girl once benched, doubted, overlooked, and even told she lacked the motivation to survive elite soccer, rise to become the most clutch performer in the history of the U.S. women's national team? How does someone who nearly quit the sport transform into the woman who would score a World Cup final hat trick in just 16 minutes? On the biggest stage the world had ever seen? This is not just the story of a champion. It's the story of a reinvention so complete, it reshaped the entire identity of American soccer. This is Carli Lloyd, the athlete who refused to break even when the world insisted she already had. Carli Lloyd was born in Delran, New Jersey, in a working-class family where discipline was not optional, it was a lifestyle. Her father was strict, intense, and uncompromising. Their bond was strong at first, but over the years, their relationship grew brittle under the weight of pressure, expectation, and conflicting personalities. From a young age, Carli showed natural talent, powerful, fast, instinctive. But there was a deeper conflict beneath the surface, a struggle with motivation, direction, and the insecurity of never quite feeling enough. In her late teens, everything broke. She was cut from the U.S. under-21 team, a rejection that shattered her confidence. Soon after, tensions with her father reached a breaking point, leading to years of silence between them. But that moment, being told she didn't belong, became the pivot of her life. Because it led her to one man who would change everything. James Galanis, a tough, relentless coach who didn't just train Carli Lloyd. He rebuilt her from the ground up. Before she became an icon, Carli Lloyd was an inconsistent player struggling to keep up with the demands of elite soccer. At Rutgers University, she shined at times but lacked the drive coaches expected. She was talented but not transformed. Meeting James Galanis was the turning point. Galanis told her the truth no one else dared to say. She wasn't fit. She wasn't disciplined, and she wasn't mentally prepared to be great. Instead of breaking her, the criticism ignited something fierce inside her. Her training became brutal, daily sessions before sunrise, repetition until exhaustion. A mental rewiring that slowly forged the steel inside her character. Still, the early days with the U.S. women's national team were far from glamorous. She spent games on the bench. Coaches doubted her consistency. Critics dismissed her as a hard-working player but not a difference maker, until one day, she proved them wrong. A decisive goal in an international match caught public attention. For the first time, a brief but powerful glimpse of what she could become. Carli Lloyd's ascent wasn't explosive, it was relentless. And once she reached the top, she stayed there with a grip no one could shake. Her breakout came in the 2008 Beijing Olympics. In the gold medal match, when pressure suffocated the field, Lloyd stepped up and struck the winning goal. 4 years later, at the 2012 London Olympics, she did it again, scoring both goals in the final. 2 Olympic gold-winning goals in 2 separate tournaments. Nobody had ever done that. But the world had not yet seen the full magnitude of who she was. Then came July 5th, 2015, the FIFA Women's World Cup final. In 16 minutes, Carli Lloyd delivered one of the greatest performances in soccer history, a devastating hat trick, including a jaw-dropping shot from midfield that froze over 50,000 fans and millions watching. Worldwide, that night became legend. She was crowned FIFA Women's Player of the Year in 2015 and again in 2016. Endorsements, global fame, and a permanent place in sports history followed. Lloyd had gone from overlooked benchwarmer to the face of the USWNT's golden era. But greatness always comes with a price. And at the very height of her achievements, the storm clouds began to gather. Carli Lloyd wasn't just famous, she was polarizing. And in a team as competitive and high-profile as the USWNT, internal tension was inevitable. Her relationship with her family, especially her father, became public after years of silence between them. Media outlets magnified the drama, painting her as both victim and villain depending on the headline of the day. Inside the national team, the atmosphere grew tense. Lloyd was vocal, intense, demanding. Younger players sometimes viewed her as too harsh, while critics accused her of not adapting to the generational changes in the squad. Her comments about some players lacking motivation ignited a firestorm. Social media exploded. Journalists dissected every word. Fans divided sharply between those who admired her, brutal honesty, and those who thought she crossed a line. Then came the devastating blow. The U.S. women's early exit from the 2016 Olympic Games in Rio. Fingers pointed everywhere, including at Lloyd. Suddenly, the woman who once embodied victory was now the face of a national disappointment. Doubt crept in once more. But Carli Lloyd was not done. Not even close. While others faded with age, Carli Lloyd evolved. She doubled down on training harder, longer, more intense than athletes half her age. Galanis continued to refine her mindset, focus, resilience, clarity. And slowly, the world began to notice a shift. Lloyd wasn't just a scorer anymore. She became a mentor, a veteran voice that younger players sought not for comfort, but for truth. Off the field, she rebuilt her personal life. Her marriage marked a new chapter of stability. And in time, she began healing the fractured relationship with her family, especially her father, where forgiveness became the final act of growth. Her later years in USW weren't about chasing spotlight, but shaping legacy. Her leadership was quieter, deeper, more intentional. She wasn't the same Carli Lloyd the world met a decade earlier. She was stronger, wiser, and finally whole. Carli Lloyd's legacy is not defined by her goals, though she scored some of the greatest the sport has ever seen. It is defined by her transformation. She proved that talent alone means nothing without discipline. That self-belief is a muscle, one that must be trained every day. That champions are not born. They are built through fire, doubt, and relentless reinvention. Today, Carli Lloyd stands as a global icon whose story inspires athletes far beyond soccer. She changed how the world views pressure, expectation, and the power of a single moment. The journey of Carli Lloyd proves that the world may doubt you, but if you refuse to doubt yourself, you can rewrite history. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful journeys inside stars and scandals.